YouTube Shikuin Shinobi here with another Sunday Ramble, and this time the topic is brought to you by several people. So if I didn't specifically name you, I apologize, but several people wanted me to do this. So I am doing a ramble about 2013 year in review. Now this isn't a best of or anything. I did that on the podcast with my buddies, so I'm not going to repeat that. If you want to know my best and worst things of 2013, check out the latest episode of the podcast, Season 4, Episode 34. This is just going to kind of be an overview of what happened in 2013 in the world of Toku, gaming, me, and I'll try to make it as quick as possible because despite it being a ramble, the rambles are really long, so I apologize for that. The demo of Bravely Default is currently downloading on my 3DS, so I'm kind of staring at it. But anyway, alright, so let's start with Tokusatsu. 2013 was a huge year for Tokusatsu. We had Kyoryuger's start, which is shaping up to be a very popular Sentai to me. It's not beaten Go Busters as my favorite, but I really love it, and it's probably more than likely going to be in my top 5 for sure. Probably maybe in my top 3 even. So we'll see how that goes. It kind of depends on whether I like him more than Mad Ranger or not. So Kyoryuger was fantastic. Go Busters ended, which was really sad for me because I loved it so much. But it moved into Kyoryuger, and I do enjoy Kyoryuger a whole lot, so it made the pain a little bit less. So pretty nice year for Sentai as well. Akiba Ranger Season 2 aired. That wasn't as good as Season 1 at all, and I hate being that person, like, oh, the original is better. But when you have something like Akiba Ranger, it's hard to overcome the joy of the first season of Akiba Ranger, because you weren't expecting anything in that show that actually happened like that, and that's really cool. So Season 2 had a lot to overcome, and it unfortunately didn't, in my opinion. There are still a lot of funny bits, but it just did not have the charm of the first season to me. That's not to say I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was pretty decent, but laughter can only go I forgot where I was going with that, but moving along. So that about covers Sentai. I mean, I won't really cover Toku movies because there really wasn't a whole lot that were good. Go Busters vs. Go Busters was by far the best Toku movie to come out of this year, with Ultimatum being Superhero Tyson being, oh god, and the Gavin movie was last year, but that was awful too. That's awful, but for everything great this year in Tokusatsu happened, there was probably some equally horrible. Okay, so 2013 Wizard happened in the realm of Kamen Rider. Wizard started as something I really enjoyed and ended as something I really did not. That's not to say I hated it. There's several things I hate more than Wizard, but it just ended on a really sour note for me. But Gaim started, and Gaim is shaping up to be one of my favorite writers. I really like what they've done in 11 episodes. It's fantastic. And the fact that they've achieved so much in 11 episodes, I think is great. But yeah, moving along from writer, there were several other things that happened in the realm of Tokusatsu in 2013 that were really good. There were things that were bad. Ultraman Ginga began, and I had such high hopes for Ultraman Ginga because I was never into Ultraman before, but I really liked the concept of using the vinyl dolls to transform, and I thought that was really cool. I do like the vinyls. They're cheap, affordable, and being a Tokusatsu fan, I do have a huge appreciation for Ultraman, even though I'm not too familiar with it. So I was like, okay, I'll buy into this. I bought the Genga Spark. I bought the gun pad just because I liked the concept of a tablet that turned into a gun. And it's a decent toy for what it is. But the Genga Spark is really cool, despite the fact that I thought Genga was really awful. I could not get into any of the characters. And the only redeeming thing the show had to me were the fights. and I more or less decided to move on. Once that mid-season hit, I decided to drop Ginga completely. I know it ended, but I haven't bothered to finish out the show yet, because I don't think Overtime did either, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so I more or less decided to move on. I'm in the middle of watching the Zero films for Ultraman Zero, and I love them a whole lot more than Ginga. So while I have an appreciation to Ginga for getting me into Ultraman, I don't like it at all. So that happened. There's also Goragon that I also stopped watching. I do plan to finish it, but I think it's going to be one of those things I'm going to wait until it's done and then kind of marathon my way through it. Because I watched the first seven or eight episodes, and I couldn't get into it. I don't know why. I just really couldn't. Black Condor was in it, and I hate Black Condor. And the suit designs were cool. I did like the designs of the characters. So I'll give it that, and I do plan on finishing it when it gets done. And my opinion might change when I watch the series as a whole, but week to week I just couldn't do it. But something that aired in 2013 that I did love, and I talked about it quite a bit on the podcast with Aerosol, Garo Season 3 was absolutely phenomenal. So many people in this fandom trash talked the third season of Garo, and a lot of it I see has to do with the fact that Ryuga isn't Koga. And they're like, well, Koga's awesome and badass, and Ryuga's a bitch head. And it's a really awful argument because, I mean, characters change. It's not going to be Koga. You can't have Koga forever. And I think that's kind of where this whole thing is going with that movie or miniseries or show or whatever the heck it is with Koga's kid, who I swear to God is just little Koga. Like, they took his stem cells and, like, replicated a younger version of Koga and decided to do a show. He's, like, wearing the same clothes. He's got the same motionless face. And it's really annoying. But, I mean, we'll see where that goes. It could be good. I've loved everything Garo's thrown at me so far. There wasn't a thing Garo I haven't enjoyed yet. So, it still could be really good. I don't like the fangasming over Koga. I didn't think he was that compelling of a character. And I more or less enjoy Garo for the lore of the series. That's something that I really enjoy. And Season 3 of Garo brought a whole new level to the lore of the show, kind of explaining where a lot of the stuff came from and what it does and how these things happen. And I just really, really enjoyed that. Tosei was a character I found absolutely amazing to watch. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail in this ramble because I don't want to spoil anything. But absolutely fantastic character to watch. And he's played by the actor that played the reporter guy in Ryuki. So that's kind of fun to watch. He was one other role too. I don't remember off the top of my head. But so that's really interesting. And if you dropped Season 3 of Garo, I really urge you to go back and check it out. There's very few episodes that don't mean something in the end game. And it was just really enjoyable for me. So that's probably... outside of the fact that Kyoryuger and Gaim are fantastic shows, Garo Season 3 is probably my highlight of 2013. It was my biggest surprise. When it started... I stuttered really bad there. When it started, it was so different than the original Garo that it was a little bit off-putting. It was just like what I said with Danball Senki Wars in the last Ramble. It was so different than the original that it was a little bit off-putting at first. But once you kind of settled into the realm that they had going on, I really like what they did with it, and it turned into my biggest surprise of 2013. And I really do love it for that. Plus, the Makai Kato figures are superb. Ryuga's Garo and Zen, Gokai Silver's character's armor, are both fantastic. I should be getting the gold version of Garo soon. In my next package, and then Guy the Bow Knight, Augury's character, is coming out soon, and they all look fantastic. I love the Mikado figures, so I'm glad those are continuing throughout the third season, and I hope they hit up some other characters soon. I know they're doing the gold versions of Zen and Augury, or not Augury, Augury's armor, Zen and Guy. So I don't know if I'm getting those. I got the gold version of Garo just because I wanted a updated Garo suit to look good on my shelf, because the original Mikaikados weren't that great. The equip and prop remolds, they weren't that great. So I wanted a new golden Garo for my display, but I don't know if I'm going to pick up the golden versions of Zen and Guy. But we'll see. We still need a Dan. We don't have a Dan yet on that line. But anyway, enough rambling about the line. So that was definitely my biggest pleasant surprise in the Tokusatsu world of 2013. As far as toys, 2013 was filled with a lot of great Tokusatsu toys. I splurge over Gabutyra de Carnival a lot on the podcast. Fantastic toy. Gaim's toy line is shaping up to be the best Kamen Rider toy line we've had so far. So I really enjoy that. And just so many great toys coming out. The Figuarts are getting better and better, even though I'm not collecting them anymore. Definitely a lot going on there. And not even speaking Tokusatsu, some great Transformers have came out this year. The Ninja Turtles line is pumping out some really cool figures for both collectors and fans of the new cartoon. What else? LBX kits were fantastic this year. The Wars kits are great. The Power Rangers toy lines are actually really good, despite the naysayers. I love what Bandai America is doing with a lot of the Ranger toys, particularly the Zord Builder stuff. So huge props to both Bandai America and Bandai Japan for the lines that they're producing. Everything is really great, and it's a good time to be a toy collector. It's not a good time for your wallet, but it's a good time for toy collecting in general. So moving along to gaming. Gaming was great in 2013. I am a Nintendo fanboy through and through, and watching Jay Witt's video, he did the top 10 Nintendo games in 2013, and it surprised me how many great games came out in Nintendo franchises in 2013, and some of them I forgot even came out this year. So I was really, really excited when I watched that, because, like I said, I'm strictly Nintendo fanboy for the most part. I have a PS3 and a PS4. I use them frequently, and I play a lot of the franchises on those games. But in terms of like franchises I gush over, it's definitely Nintendo. And I mean, Luigi's Mansion, Fire Emblem, Pokemon X and Y, Link to the Past, or I mean, A Link Between Worlds, Wind Waker HD, Wonderful 101. I don't know how Sonic Lost World is, but there's that. That wasn't on his list. But I do recommend checking out that video by him if you want to see some of the great games that came out in 2013. But even jumping from Nintendo, you have things like The Last of Us, Tomb Raider, all really, really great games. Now, I mean, I don't play my PlayStation as much as some people would normally, so I can't speak a whole lot. I know there is a lot more games I'm forgetting that came out that I have played for PlayStation in 2013. But it was 2013 was kind of a catch-up year for me with the PlayStation, so I'm not sure what came out this year and what didn't. But Tomb Raider is definitely a great game, and Last of Us was too. So fantastic year in gaming. I know I didn't rant about that quite as long, but I just want to keep that part a little bit short. But yeah, definitely. Movies, I have no idea. I hardly see movies. All I know is Frozen was incredible and like one of the best Disney movies ever. Everyone should go see it 5 times. But I'll end that there. Television, I didn't start a whole lot. 2013, I did start watching Precure, thanks to my friend Joey. And I really like Doki Doki so far. I think it's really enjoyable, actually, and I was surprised. That's another one of my good surprises of 2013. Is I was not expecting to like that franchise as much as I do, considering it's aimed at girls and everything, little kid girls and stuff. But the story elements the show does carry, I think, are actually really strong, and it's a franchise that can definitely be enjoyed by anyone. So if you can put the idea of magical girls aside, I'd definitely go ahead and check it out. I thought it was actually really good. And Dan Balsenki Wars, I also watched this year, and I rambled about that, so I won't mention it a whole lot, but I did enjoy that. And that's really about it for the whole television and movies thing. Now, as for my life, because I don't really have too much else to say in terms of like topics, I'll end this by saying that 2013 was absolutely incredible for me. And I actually want to personally, as personable as an audiophile can be, each and every one of you guys, for supporting me over this year. It was a very long year. There was ups and downs. There was times where I really thought about quitting, to be honest. But obviously that never panned out. But there was definitely a lot of ups and downs in 2013. But I think the biggest thing was when I finally decided to stop buying Figuarts. I know it upset a lot of people, because I mean I reviewed every Figuart that I bought for a while until a lot of rough patches hit, and I developed a really big backlog, and it never got done. And the clothes are done drying. Woo! So yeah, not buying those has freed up a ton of money for me every month, which is great because, as a lot of you know, I moved out this year. Me and my girlfriend bought a double wide mobile home, and it is very nice. And I got a lot of space for my workstation and stuff. Not as much space to display my stuff as I'd like, but I'll save that for when we actually get a full-fledged house. But it's great for the two of us, and it's perfect for what we need right now and what we can afford right now. And it's more or less a very surreal thing when you think about everything that happened and how everything fell into place. It's kind of one of those things that makes you feel incredibly blessed because we applied for loans to get the place. Well, first of all, we got the place from one of my dad's friends, coworkers, and his now boss. We actually bought it from them, and so if they never have mentioned it and brought it up, then the opportunity would have never presented itself in the first place. And so once it was, we thought about it, we wanted to do it. We've been wanting to move for a while now. And so we finally took the plunge and decided to do it. And so we applied for loans, and we got rejected for the loans because my debt-to-income ratio was too low. Because what the taxes show for my income isn't my actual income. Because I get paid by a Japanese man and PayPal. Because I get paid from Fullscreen through PayPal. And so I don't actually really have too much tax information because I just pay the taxes on my income at one time in tax season, which is really awful. But and my income last year wasn't nearly as much as it is this year. So this year was absolutely phenomenal for income, and the fact that I'll get into that later. So that worked out okay, actually, because we were rejected by the loan, and I was really devastated. But thankfully, I decided to stop buying Figuarts, and so I was selling everything. And at that point, I had made about $6,000 from selling the Figuarts, and I still have a bunch, which is really weird when you think about it. That I actually probably paid that much for a bunch of action figures. But anyway, so I had about $6,000 at that point. They were asking $10,000 for the house, so I was able to basically work out something with them. I gave them $6,000. The remainder, my parents actually paid $1,000. So we worked out where we would pay the remainder of the money, and over a period of 2 years. So it worked out absolutely perfect. And it just kind of gives me a little bit of chills to when I think about the fact that if I didn't decide to sell my Figuarts, we wouldn't have been able to do this at all. And I feel really fortunate that everything worked out the way it did. And like I said, revenue's up. 2013 was absolutely fantastic. Viewership's up. Revenue's up. And my job at CS Toys is really fantastic. I like doing what I do there. I wish I did more, actually. I really do love it there, and I want to do as much as I can for them. But the fact that I get by every month, me and Kat, by her income and my income, and I get to do what I love, which is making these videos, making these reviews, communicating with you guys. And then my work at CS Toys involves the toys that I love. So it's a very win-win for me, and I feel so fortunate. It's rare in this day and age to be able to say that you love doing what you do for a living. And I really do. So I feel so blessed to have this circumstance in my life. And that all formulated in 2013. So it was a huge year for me, and once again, I want to personally thank everyone who watches my videos, every one of my subscribers. You guys mean the world to me. I don't communicate with all of you regularly, but send me a message on Twitter, connect with me through Facebook. I try to get to as many comments on YouTube as I can, but the new comment system, I don't get alerted to a lot of them, and I end up missing a lot of them, but Twitter, Facebook, absolutely fantastic ways of getting a hold of me. I do use an email address for my current sales, so once my sales are over, I might free that up for fan mail if you want. But Twitter is definitely where I spend most of my time, so if you want to get a hold of me, get a hold of me through Twitter. But I get alerted to Facebook messages too, so that works too. But yeah, I love you guys, absolutely, and as much crap as I give this fandom, the Toku community in general, it's a great community, and even the ones that annoy me, I love you anyway, because you support me, and I can't ask for anything more than that. So thank you, each and every one of you, for supporting me. Thank you to everyone who bought my Figuarts. I still have a bunch of my sales thread on my blog, so please check that out if you're interested. Because I wouldn't be living where I am right now without you guys. So huge thanks. Here's to an absolutely fantastic 2014 with more rambles, more podcasts, more random videos, hopefully, more reviews, more vlogs and demos and anything I can think of. I really want 2014 to be a year of expansion for this channel and for my life. And so I'm really looking forward to what 2014 has to bring. Thank you once again to each and every one of you. Thanks for listening. Take care and have a great one. Bye.